Okie dokie, should be live. Alright. Hello, guys. Welcome back to my stream on this wonderful Friday. Yay, we finally made it. Today we're going to be working on Slay Belle Katarina and texturing her, just trying to get her as far along as possible. I mean, she feels pretty good where she's at right now, but we still want to make quite a bit of progress to get her to the finish line. And yeah, let's jump right into it. So I'm going to correct the UV here with the present, the top of the present. I just now did that, so I can just export this mesh and let's see, obj, Slay Belle Katarina. And I'm just going to quickly update the project here with the new mesh and Slay Belle Katarina. Okay. All right. So now that present top should be with correct UVs, and it looks like it is. So cool. That's the only thing I needed to do really quickly. Other than that, let's get right to the painting and just get that going. I'm also going to play some music. Okay, cool. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to work on today, I feel like, was the hair. So I'm going to pull up some references on that. Vitali, welcome to the stream. Hi, hello. Nice to have you here. I'm going to go ahead and just start working on the hair. When it comes to hair, I really like to be careful with the topology, making sure that oops, what's happening? Spacing is too much, just jitter. Making sure that I'm following with that topology so that it looks good from all those angles. I think what I also want to do is just really quickly pull up the Katarina default model, and I want to take a look at her hair. Take a screenshot of that. Just so like where I'm placing the highlights and the shadows feels somewhat consistent. Let's grab that here. And I want to get the front as well. Cool. Now let's go back here. Is it comfortable to use Substance Painter for hand painting? Yes, absolutely. I mean, Cinema or 3D Code more traditional for it. Yeah, some people they do prefer, other programs, I guess. But for me, like, I know how to use Substance Painter. I'm comfortable with it. And the hand painting is really not like that different from just painting in 3D, which is all I really need. I just need some sort of program that allows me to paint in 3D and use layers and masks, and Substance Painter does exactly that. So. Kind of tightening up the highlights area here. make it consistent with our default skin. I do have to keep in mind that this is blonde hair, and like the values generally are pretty light, which means it's going to catch a lot more light in general. I'm brightening up the inside, the side that we won't really see that much. Just kind of trying to keep it like a slow kind of, not a slow, like an easy roll into the bright values. So it's not like a drastic change. Okay, and then I'm going to switch over to the reindeer horns. And I'm going to quickly save this pure ref scene and switch over to Katarina ASU sheet. I'll just make sure that I'm pulling the correct colors here. Now, since these reindeer horns are really going to be catching a lot of light, I have to choose a much brighter value, possibly even warm. So let's see. I want to switch it over to a warmer hue. There we go, that feels more correct. Yeah, I also use Substance and 3D Code. The biggest problem with Substance is that there is no smooth brush, and you need to separate layers for other colors. You mean smooth brush as in like smudge? Because they do have a smudge. And they do have airbrush as well. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at the original skin, see how they rendered this. I don't think it's done very well. It's just kind of like a soft looking thing. I'm gonna switch over to the soft brush. And just start rendering it so it looks softer. And bring a little bit of this the brightest value here, and put it here as well. So it's kind of like a gradual descent in value. No, I mean smooth brush. It's like you have two colors and smooth them, and they also mix. Like a mixer brush, I guess, is what you mean, like Photoshop has. I personally don't really use that in Photoshop, so I don't feel like I'm missing it in Substance. One of the reasons why I switch over to 2D painting in Photoshop. Let me take a sip real quick. Why I switched to 2D texturing in Photoshop after a certain phase on my texturing is because obviously I'm comfortable with Photoshop, but also like the smudging is really nice compared to Substance Painter. So I'm able to like go in and smooth out the area between two colors, or kind of get like a harder edge, but also keep it kind of like blending into something else. I just don't feel as comfortable with the Substance Painter smudge. There's just something about it that's not quite there, in my opinion. And also you will have to be like undoing some of the work you already made if you're working on the same layer, which I don't like. I'm just kind of adding a little bit of a bluish color to the front here, kind of make it look like it's a bounce light, and also help to round out this shape, make it feel more 3D. I'm gonna brighten this as well and shift it to a cooler, actually maybe warmer hue. Make sure the stroke is pretty low. And just sort of gradually add that brighter value on the top side. You can see how that helps to round things out. Might grab the green here and also put a very slight like bounce light, reflecting that color just a bit. And just a tiny bit here. Gets stronger the closer we are to it, of course. And that'll help add some dimensionality to that. Okay, I think that's good. I want to add the golds here, so let's add sort of the buckles that I made. These buckles, I kind of basically merged it into the actual leather glove. So that way I didn't have to model a complex shape. I can just texture it. Okay. It's fine. Let's look back on Katarina, the concept that I did. I'm also gonna add the ones on the boots. Oops, too far. rotating my camera always to make sure that it looks good from all those angles. And then we add a little bit here. Okie dokie, and let's go in and start rendering some of that. Oh, actually, the heel here has a bit of a golden edge to it. Why are we doing that? And then this heel part is gold. Get rid of this. So we have something like that, and then I'm going to paint some of that in there. Okay. Looks good to me. And turn off the wireframe, make sure that looks good. Yeah. So I just need to go in and render those golds. I'm going to turn off my backface culling and start laying down this dark gold color. Yes, maybe it's like in Photoshop. I'm not drawing in Photoshop, so I can't tell. Of course, everyone uses programs that they want. Just tell you what I want in substance. Also not my native English, not my native language. Uh-oh. Okay, my stream should be back. Sorry, that was actually me. I'm not sure why. Internet. That was me. My bad. Welcome, Louise. Welcome to the stream. But my internet is also trash today. Okay, I think that's okay for now. I want to go back on the legs, I think. And I really just want to render them out as far as possible so that I can start laying down that red stripe. Only issue is I want to make sure the white color feels consistent with the other skins. So I'm going to choose this bright color and see how dark that is, because it seems to be darker than what I have right now. Yeah, that's pretty dark. Okay, so I'm going to darken all of this. I think it's going to help to figure out that top-down gradient. Pull the color down to a dark value and shift it towards purple. I'm thinking about the top-down gradient. By the way, do you use base models from LOL? I heard that some guys download models and make fan skins. If I use like parts and pieces from other skins in the game, no. I kind of did that in the past, but I don't really do that anymore. And in terms of like base models, I do make like a base body of the character. Like if I have a champion that I want to make a skin for, or I have plans to make skins for, then I will create like a base body, which is basically, and that's kind of where I go in and take parts and pieces from existing parts of their skins to try and create like a naked version of that character without any texture. And that way I can start, that's kind of like the starting point for where I can start adding clothes and all that stuff, depending on whatever skin it is. So I've done that with Katarina. I made like a base body for her, and now I'm making skins on top of that base body. It just makes things a lot easier when you know where you're working from. And sometimes I will texture them as well. I did for Katarina. And that way I don't have to like for example, retexture her face every single time, retexture her body. I just have like a standard. Slay Belle OG texture looks kind of like she's dirty. I don't know. I agree. There's something about it that feels kind of very dark in general compared to most of her skins. So that's why I'm not trying to color pick from it. That's also something I noticed on Pool Party Graves. A lot of his textures feel very dark and desaturated. That's sort of the nature of older skins. They have their own problems. I separated out her body into separate pieces down below. So I can go in here and start working some not as quite visible parts. Not sure how high I wanted this fur to be, but I do want to add that on the inside. I think I want to add a bit of texture to this fur just to make it feel like more integrated. I never really noticed that on Pool Party Graves. Yep. It's definitely an issue. What is that skin that I'm thinking about? There's this skin on ArtStation that somebody did a really nice job of making a model for. this one. It's by Jenna Van Pelt. She's actually a 3D character artist at Riot Games now. Congratulations. I really like the way that she rendered the fur here, so I kind of want to get that same texture as well. I'm gonna take this one. I might also pull the darkest color here just to see if that works with this skin. Also help me push this fur into darker values because right now it's pretty bright in general. So where the fur is going to meet the dress, obviously I need to put like a context shadow. I saw VFX in your portfolio. It seems you want to work on this game so much. Yeah, I definitely want to work at Riot Games. I really like their style, the characters, the champions, and their designs. I've pretty much played the game since like Season 3, so I've been with it for a long time. And I mean, I almost got in. I was really close this year, I believe, to getting in, but they kicked me out last minute. But that's okay. Keep working, keep practicing my hand painting. I mean, I always get better. I feel like I get better with every single piece, just because, especially if I'm like trying different stuff instead of like the same, you know, Spirit Blossom skin over and over, more Starry Guardian skins. I like to try different skins because I learned how to paint different types of materials and textures, and also how to model them as well, and sort of the different modeling techniques that I have to approach with every project. So I'm always learning with every hand painted project. I'll start defining the texture here as well. I'm going to turn on the mirror mode. Let me go down to the separated body piece so we have the hair out of the way. It's not perfectly mirroring over because I don't actually have this part in fur symmetrical. There we go. Are you a student? If yes, you can try internship at Riot. That is what I that is what I almost got into. I applied for the internship at Riot Games, and I think it was for a character artist on League, but then they asked if I was open to doing the internship on TFT, and I said yes, and that's the one I almost got into, like all the way. I pretty much made it to the 3rd interview, and and they really liked what I had to say. They liked my energy. I feel like I vibed pretty well with all the people there. And then they sent me the offer letter, and I signed the letter, and then they gave me the like employee information or whatever that I have to sign and like add information to. And it was after I did that that they decided to rescind the offer. So I was literally on the last step. But I mean, it's okay. I'm not too sour about it because I understand like there's just a lot. OBS disconnected again. Okay, we should be back now. I don't know why my OBS keeps disconnecting. Yeah, but I am a student at university. I believe I'm in my sophomore year right now, and Riot looks for juniors and seniors, so I guess they were pretty adamant about that, going for those age groups, I guess, or completion status this year. For the model, I believe there is, I'm gonna add just a little bit of fur here just to kind of blend into that raw piece. Kind of help that shape just a bit. I definitely want to try some stuff on my portfolio that is non-league related. And I'd love if you guys are interested in that to be, like, if you want to see that, then I can stream those as well. If I'm just doing like non-league related portfolio pieces on stream. Love to be able to showcase my process on those as well. And you'll probably learn a lot more things, I think. Because sometimes I'm doing like PBR stuff, and PBR stuff is like there's a lot more textures involved. The ZBrush part of the process is a lot more dedicated. I have to actually go in and sculpt things out because I'm going to be reusing those details for different maps. Whereas for League, it's just a base color. It doesn't really have any of those extra maps for the character. Balderina again. Yeah. Good and ill evening. I'm not sure what that means, but welcome to the stream, Coffee. Damn, you were so close. I wish you luck on your way. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, super close, but dang. It's a shame. I just wanted to say hello. Pretty beat because I'm ill and still went to work today. Oh, I hope you feel better soon. I'm gonna add just a little bit of a red bounce light on this corset. Because it is leather, and leather is quite reflective in a way. Wait, my stream, I'm watching my stream like on the side here, and it's kind of delayed, but that's because I wasn't on live. Just making sure everything is good. Let's see, I'm gonna pull up my hand-painted reference sheets, and I hope I have something here from Road King. Because there's just a certain way that they handle leather that I want to copy as well. Oh yes, like this. See how they have this like green color incorporated into the leather as well? I think that's really nice. We've already chosen the highlight color for this, so I'm gonna make sure to incorporate that on the backside as well. Um, so I'm going to sleep now. Keep up the amazing work, bro. Thank you, Kloppy, and good night. Do you know Hand Painters Guild on channel on Discord? There's a lot of guys who do the same. Yes, I actually joined sort of in the middle of the year. And yeah, I see it's a really nice community because, you know, we're all kind of doing the same thing and we're able to offer each other feedback. I did kind of ask for feedback on my base Katarina piece, and I did receive a lot of helpful feedback on that. I need this leather to get darker, so I need to take a look back at Braum and see just how dark it gets. This gets pretty dark here. Okay, what I may do is grab this color and do the polygon fill. So where is the corset? Corset's right here. Make sure symmetry is turned off. And just do it around this whole edge. Okay. And I want to render a little bit of the gloves as well. You'll change Warring Kingdoms? I think so, yeah. I think that skin's old enough to where it could receive like a model update. Adding a slight shadow here because this is where like the model kind of comes out, so we want that shadow to project down. I don't think she needs a lot of changes. I agree. I don't think Warring Kingdoms would receive like a huge change in design because I feel like it's pretty nice as is. I'm not really a fan of like Katarina being in bodysuits all the time, but I feel like out of any of the skins where that is the case, that one's probably like the one where it's okay. Like it actually doesn't feel like a problem. I don't think she needs a lot of changes. I mean, she delivers, yeah. I find the triangle modeling technique really fascinating. I built most of this model with quads, and then I triangulated it afterwards, because that's how it's going to be in game. But also, I like to triangulate when I'm modeling, because I get to see, like, sometimes it adds, like, extra lines that I didn't think about would be there. And sometimes those extra lines are helpful for UVs, like to make it a seam. So I do like to triangulate my models before. If I feel like it's at a stage where it's like, okay, this feels like pretty final, I don't think I have to make any massive changes to it, so then I triangulate the model. If you triangulate the model like early on, then you're probably gonna run into a lot of cleanup, which is kind of a pain. So it's best to stay with quads as much as possible. I'm gonna add some of this red bounce light here on the underside of her hand. I don't want it to be too pronounced. I want it to be kind of subtle. And there you can see like it kind of brings some volume to the hand instead of just going completely dark. Let's take a look at the whole model. And you can see how that bounce light really helps. I'm gonna work on her legs just a little bit here on the underside that we don't really see. And I might add some of the red bounce light in the inner thighs. These sides as well, because that's where the dress sits. Okay. And then because this part of the skin is in shadow, we're gonna switch to I'm gonna grab this dark color, going to brighten it up, make it a little bit desaturated, and then shift it towards orange, I think. And this will be the highlight color that I will be using for the parts that are in shadow. So I want to bring some volume to these legs. Going back in with that color that I chose and making sure that the shadow is kind of clean. Let me look at the screenshot that I did of Katarina. See if I can grab a darker color for her skin. Where is it? There it is. I'm gonna grab this side. And I just sort of want to lightly introduce the shadow on the sides of the model so that those bright areas kind of pop out more. Okay, and then let's also kind of clean up these shorts, I guess they are now. Clean up those lines. Okay. And let's render it just a bit. We won't really see this that much, but because the skirt is going to be using part of her Battle Queen rig, I want to make sure that if you do see it, that it actually looks like this whole underside, that it actually looks kind of rendered. I think in her death animation, you might see underneath the skirt just a little bit, so one of the texture actually looks rendered out. Kind of softening this edge. And let's introduce the red bounce light again. It's too bright. It's getting too bright. I need to tone it down. So, okay. I think that's fine for now. Yeah, we'll leave that as is for now. Can I ask you what you think about one of my hand paint models? It's always interesting how other artists see work. I don't know if I want to provide critique for people's stuff, because then it will become like a regular thing with my audience. And I'm not sure if I want that to be a thing yet, if I haven't really considered it enough. But you can throw it on like the hand painted Discord and see, like, I mean, if it is hand painted, you can ask for feedback on those Discords, and I'm sure that you'll get like a lot of helpful feedback. So I want to darken this fur more, so I can go in with a brighter color and just start blocking out more fur. Let's go down to here. I'm gonna grab the brightest color here. Okay, no problem, thank you. Thank you for understanding. I think fur for me is like pretty tedious to render because there's just so much detail on it. So it can take quite a bit to start to look like proper fur, but then you also don't want it to be too detailed to where it doesn't look like it fits in league. So there's a very delicate balance when it comes to fur. think the same thing for hair as well. I think I'm going to go into the 2D painting view and switch over to UV, texture, and I'm going to switch to a different brush. And just start blocking out some of these darker shapes. Start figuring out how the fur is going to have some texture. Do want to keep in mind the topology a little bit. It is a bit irregular. Actually, I don't think I'm worried about it right now. I'll just focus on the 2D view, and then when I go back to the 3D and see some issues, then I will correct it. The way I render fur is kind of like hair as well. I usually prefer to do it in like a 2D painted view, because I can go back in and start like smudging out some of the darker parts with the brighter parts. I'm going to try on using the Substance Painter smudge and see if that gets me some results that I want. I like to keep it pretty high, like 45 flow. Maybe a bit lower. 22. And that kind of helps me build out a 3D kind of shape to it. Without having to go in there and paint it myself. So let's see how that looks. You can see how it's kind of starting to follow what I think Jenny did. Is that her name? I forgot her name. I think that's her name. I think I'll do that in Photoshop just because I feel like I have a lot more control compared to Substance Painter. So I'm just gonna try and like work on everything else, and then I'll go back to the fur in Photoshop, which is over to camera. Want this to have kind of a gradual fade off. And because the underside, I decided red for the bounce light. For the red parts, I think I'll make it more of a cyan color, or not cyan, magenta color. And that'll kind of add some color variation. I think for the boob as well. Let's see. Somewhere around there. Might add it a bit to the side as well. And you can see just how helpful that bounce light is. of smooth this out, transition. This part is a little too bright. And tone it down just a bit. I wish I made this dress without the bow in front. Let me see if I can get in there with back face off. Okay, not really. So let me save this real quick, and I'm gonna go back to my model and remove this bow. There we go. Export again to my desktop. Slay Belle Katarina. Okay. I'm gonna save my project just in case I want to go back. And Slay Belle Katarina. Okay. Should update and preserve all my strokes. There we go. Now I can see what's going on here. It's gonna take a little bit to update. Okay, and because this part is in shadow, I want to utilize the magenta color that we used for the bounce light and just kind of brighten up some of the forms here so we can see the 3D shape. Just in case, for whatever reason, we are seeing part of dress underneath the bow. There we go. I could also make it kind of greenish as well. Kind of makes sense because there's a green bow there. So it makes sense that that color would also reflect. So I'm gonna see how that looks. Not sure if I'll like it, but yeah, I think it blends a little bit too much, so maybe not. Maybe sort of a greenish, nah. I think the green is supposed to contrast against the red there, so. Let's render out this bow a bit. So I have my reference here, no, it's on the other sheet, here. And I really like Cafe Cutie Annie's bows. I feel like those are some of the best in the game. I want to reference those. Make sure that I am honoring the topology here. So I'm going to turn it on. And just start blocking. And increase the opacity. It looks like we are at the 1 hour mark here, guys. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask so I can get to them before I leave the stream for today. I'm not going to stream over the weekend. I don't think I want to stream on weekdays or weekends in general. But Monday we will be back. I'll be working on new projects, which is going to be the Bee Zoe, which I announced yesterday on yesterday's stream as well. That was Project Ergot. Go ahead and check that out. We started on his textures, which I feel like is probably the most exciting part of the process for you guys. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm going to end it in about 4 minutes. I might add a little bit of a red bounce light to the green. And I'm going to keep it pretty subtle because I don't want it to blend with the dress. And that'll help kind of give the bow like this reflective material kind of feel as well. I'm going to try and pull this color to be darker, and I'm going to shift it towards blue and add this part. I think I have a bow reference that's nicer. I'm just going to try and push this bow before I end the stream. Take a darker color. Just kind of separate these pieces out. Doesn't seem to be getting dark enough. Darken. Don't want it to be too dark. I'm gonna make this part of the bow darker because it kind of like caves in just a bit and then it pops back out with the ribbons. Okay, that feels pretty good. Alright, I think that's it for today. I didn't get any questions on the chat, so nothing to answer there. But yeah, this is the progress for today. It's kind of slow, but we did make some pretty good strides, I think. I could actually bring back the texture from my ZBrush. Where did I save it? Here. And we can see kind of the progress that we've made today. That's before, after. So it seems slow, but we made kind of some big strides in defining these golds, the gold buckles here as well. A little bit on the hair, not too much. These reindeer horns I'm feeling pretty good about. The fur, we got a lot more definition in. And then some of the bounce light as well. But yep, I think that's it for today. I'm just now getting questions, so let me answer them really quickly. Hello, I am new. Will these be playable or are they just concepts? These will be playable mods. Once I'm finished with the default Katarina skin, which like all I have to do right now is make some different animations. And I think I'll work on that over the weekend, so I can get that out to you guys sometime next week. Not sure exactly when, but I will be going on vacation, I think like the last 2 weeks of December. So I'll get that out to you guys before then. But yeah, once I finish the animations for that, the default skin will be out as a mod, and then this will be out as a mod as well. You do have to own the Slay Belle Katarina skin to play this, so just keep that in mind. And Jesus says it's looking pretty good. Thank you. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. we'll make more progress. Probably, let's see, Thursday or Friday next week. I'm not sure if, because I do want to work a lot more on Project Ergot to kind of try and finish that as quickly as possible. I do still have like the Garen plushie left, so I'm gonna have to make like a rough concept for that and then also a model. So this skin's gonna take a little bit before I deliver it, but I do want to make sure I get it out before I go on vacation. So that's it for Slay Belle Katarina. And then Project Ergot, I want to spend a couple days next week working on that, trying to push it along as far as possible. And then, yeah, we'll be starting on the Zoe skin, the Bee Zoe. I'm not sure what to call it yet. I'm going to put up a poll on my Twitter. It's going to be called, I want to ask you guys, like, do we want to name it Zoe or Zoe, like with the 3 Z's or whatever? I'm going to put up the options on my Twitter. Hopefully you guys can take part in that. And yeah, that's it for today. See you guys next week, same time. There's one last question here I'm going to get to. Let me answer that really quickly. As a follow-up, will they be dropped in one pack, or will it be drip fee skin by skin, or drop skin by skin till we have them all? I'm going to drop them all like one at a time. I'm not going to drop them like all at the same time. Just as I finish them, I'll drop them as mods. So. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for attending the stream. And yeah, until next week. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.